So we got Joe Rogan, we got Chuck Liddell, and now we got Penn Gillette in studio. And he already knows what you were going to say live on the air because of this damn Twitter.
The Twitter, they tell you everything, you know.
Yeah,
they talk
really
to you
do.
on the Twitter. They send you stuff, and they said, and I apologize so much. You just, you're absolutely right. Whatever happened is true. I apologize for it.
You know what I just realized? Penn has some parts of his voice sound a bit like Jesse Ventura.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the libertarian parts.
No, there's something about his voice, and I was just thinking, well, what a great combination to be bullshit and bullshit. You know, your show, which is calling out bullshit, and his show, which is embracing it,
complete
and
bullshit,
loving it violently.
It could be a complete symbiotic relationship.
It'd be amazing.
Just completely cycle it right through.
I'm talking about thermite paint. Thermite took down the trade centers. Really? Did they paint the walls while people were working in there?
Free ball, fall speed.
Have you ever seen a crew come in to destroy a building with the work that has to be done before they actually press the button and bring it down? You're telling me they did that while people were working in there and didn't upset one cubicle? Really, Jesse? Well, I was a Navy SEAL. I know. Whatever.
I served my country.
Did you? Glad, proud of your service. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, but that doesn't mean I believe that fucking someone went in with a paint roller with a fucking coyote from the Roadrunner paint and fucking brought down the Trade Center. You fucking nut. Thermite paint.
What's your Navy SEAL physics and chemistry change?
Excuse me, sir, I was a demolition man.
Vietnam.
Man.
Really?
We played this. We did this like Q&A thing in Florida State University, and it was where the "Don't Tase Me, Bro" thing happened. It was in the actual room.
Oh, that's great.
Did you feel it in the air?
And the guy that booked us was the guy that told the police officer, go over there and shut that guy up. And it was great because the culture of "Tase Me, Bro," "Don't tase me, bro," is national.
Right.
But at this particular school, this guy stood up, and the first question of the night, he stands up, and 3 video guys stand up with him, and he goes, "I want to ask you a question, Mr. Gillette." And I go, "Sure." And he goes, "You did the bullshit show without watching Building 7 go down. I'm calling bullshit on you. The 9/11 was a conspiracy." And he goes on yelling at me, and the great thing was the audience, 1,200 people. Tase him, tase him, tase him, tase him. The chant just starts, and it's really hard not to laugh your ass off. And he finished his point. I said, no, I haven't watched, I certainly saw the video, but I didn't watch it in detail. And yes, I've read some of the stuff you said, but certainly not all of it. How can you go on TV without reading everything about it? Then no one can go on TV about anything ever. But no, I am ignorant of some of this. But the whole time I'm talking to this guy in like a standard kind of Q&A thing, the audience, tase him, tase him, tase him. Just fabulous.
Those 9/11 truthers, some of them are so fucking crazy, you almost wonder whether or not they're government agents designed to make the 9/11 conspiracy look ridiculous.
Yeah, to make it look silly.
Like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Really? Some of them are so over the top fucking crazy about it.
I read this thing, and then I haven't been able to find it since. So it's possible when I say I read this, it means I made it up. But the Lincoln assassination, the Kennedy assassination, any big sort of huge tragedy, it seems like 15 years later, 10 years later, you get this whole conspiracy thing that pops up. It seems to be just part of the way human beings deal with things, because it's so hard to believe that Lee Harvey Oswald, one loser nut, changed the world that much. And it's so hard to believe those 9/11 people did that much to everything, that much.
You believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone?
Yes.
Really?
I'm not sure. There's stuff up there, but the thing that convinces me the most is the Luis Alvarez, who won the Nobel Prize physics in like the 60s, who was JFK's really good friend. There's a paper that he wrote in the Physics Journal that just came out in 68 or something. Luis Alvarez, that is very compelling. He does the sound stuff and that kind of things. Although I've heard people very knowledgeable debating this. So
I've heard arguments on both sides that make me lean one way or another, back and forth.
Yeah, you go back and forth and go, I absolutely believe it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Wait, I absolutely believe it was one guy.
What I think about is the emotional thing. I so desperately want to think it was a bigger cause than that.
Right.
That I fight against it a little bit.
I think that's the whole gist of the conspiracy and why people embrace it. It's because you want to feel like you're safer than just a few guys that can do what they did on 9/11. You want to think that it took some massive conspiracy. No, it took a few people that really hate us to do that.
But
and that's it.
Evil is so rare. Evil is so rare. You never encounter it. You encounter people who are wrong all the time. You encounter people doing stupid things all the time. But someone choosing to do something evil is so rare that I don't think we're good at processing it.
Yeah, and I think we want to be part of something bigger.
Sure. It's better to have an evil God than no God to some people.
Right.
It's, chaos is so frightening. And the fact that we're all struggling desperately to do our best and we still fuck things up is to some people a horrifying thought.
Weren't we all under the impression that the White House and the Pentagon and everything had these missile banks that would come up and shoot anything out of the sky that was trying to come toward Washington? And then you realize, no. It's just like any gig that you have, any job you've ever had. Yeah. People just fuck shit up. They drop the ball. They don't listen to the guy next to them. And that's exactly what happened.
But even worse than that, they do the best they can.
Yeah, and that's the best they can.
That's the scary part. There are times when I have done all my homework, all my preparation, been focused, worked hard, and still been a devastatingly incompetent fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's what terrifies me.
Not on the bullet catch. That would be tragic.
The people that don't prepare and don't listen to the guy next to them, that works into my worldview. It's the guy with a good heart, who's smart, working as hard as he can, that then fucks up my life.
Just missed something.
Sure. Doing his best. Doing his best and a better job than I would be doing, and he's fucking it up.
There's something intoxicating about secret information, about uncovering secrets and uncovering UFO shit. Like, I have friends that are just fucking obsessed with UFOs, and they're like, did you see the newest video? Like, no matter what it is, they just...
there was a great quote from Spielberg, which was just this fabulous quote where he said, "I'm so surprised that with all the video technology everybody carries with them, we're not getting more UFO video."
Yeah.
I was kind of wonder why that could be, Steve. Let's think about that. Every single motherfucker on the planet has video running 24 hours, and no more videos coming out of UFOs.
No matter what happens, someone is videotaping it. Yet in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we were getting these still photos, Polaroids, UFOs all over the place. Now everyone's got it. The phones are cameras, and we don't see shit.
We don't see much.
You see some great CG work that some people do in their basement. You're like, wow, that looks pretty good.
That's all right.
But it looks too good. I've seen a few of those where it looked like a genuine some type of alien flying device.
I think the idea of something from another planet that has to come here in a big metal ship is just so archaic.
Yeah.
Like, if there is something that's so advanced, whether or not they've been around, maybe they're in a solar system that doesn't have asteroidal impact issues, and so they've been allowed to evolve for 1,000,000 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
They could probably just go wherever the fuck
some
they want.
Fog bank.
They
arrive in a fog bank.
And they look like a tree.
Yeah.
Why do they have to be a metal ship?
Yeah.
Evolution is not going toward intelligence or exploration. Evolution is a crapshoot. And you can be very highly evolved, like a cockroach, and not go to another planet. So another 1,000,000 years of evolution without the savannah, without the looking for 3D vision for fruit, without the walking upright, without the campfires, without all of that stuff, you get an entirely different outcome. So you can evolve
if it
forever
goes in that way and it doesn't go to intelligent life. Right, I guess.
But it can also go intelligent and not exploratory.
Yeah, why does interplanetary exploration have to be the be-all, end-all of intelligence? It's like, well, they're so intelligent, of course they'd be able to travel here. It's like, maybe that isn't their thing.
Or maybe they don't want to.
Maybe they don't even want to. Yeah.
I think
there are things that I'm smart enough to do that I don't do.
Because you don't want to.
There are things that I'm smart.
Right.
Even a guy like me, I'm smart enough to do certain things. I don't do them.
Yeah, I bet given the instructions, I could defuse a bomb. I choose not to.
Yeah, I saw Hurt Locker. It doesn't look that tough.
No, you put the suit on, you go in, you snip a few wires, but you know what?
Don't
not
cut
me.
that wire.
It's always that.
Yeah.
Right.
Blue or red, blue or red.
Too late.
Well, I don't know. It
think
probably
the idea-
feels pretty great when you defuse the bomb.
You know what? It
feels
probably
pretty
does.
fucking
I'm
great.
sure it does.
I mean, it feels awful great. awful. Which you know, for sex, a lot of times it's like that. Awful,
Same
great.
feeling.
You know?
Hey, Penn, what are you doing in town? We know, but for the radio audience, because you saw something last night.
I saw. Well, we did Jimmy Fallon, which was exciting because I got to be in a room with Leon Russell. And the incredible thing is, we walk over to Leon Russell, you know, just to blow him. He's the greatest guy in the world.
I don't know who he is.
Leon Russell, piano player for Joe Cocker, but he's also just done an album with Elton John. But he played piano for Sinatra, Phil Spector.
Everybody.
Long gray hair, long gray beard. You've seen this guy.
Nuttier than a shithouse.
Yeah, you've seen this guy.
And, you know, he's in like a wheelchair with a cane, just being so much
What do you mean a
cred.
cane with a wheelchair?
Well, no, he was in a cane to get to the wheelchair.
Okay.
But he's got, you know, this beautiful
Stick in
long
the
white
spokes above the
hair, and just crazy. And we walk over to him, you know, and I just go, "Hello, Mr. Russell. My name is Penn." He goes, "Hi, nice to meet you." And he goes, "Glad to hear you talk, Teller." And all of a sudden, it washed over me that he knew something about us. And I'm like going, why are you wasting your time watching Penn and Teller when you could be playing the piano? But then I went after that and saw Book of Mormon, you know, Trey and Matt's show.
Yeah.
And I think it might, present company excluded, it might be the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
I could not believe how it was so, you know, art, the purpose of art is to inspire. And then it gets to a certain level, and it makes you want to give up. You know, you listen to Bach and go, I don't have anything to add.
Am I going to pick an instrument up and really try to be proficient at this?
Yeah,
No.
And, this is so good. It is a moment without even a moment of cynicism. It's pure. It's beautiful. It's just loving. It's funny, and it takes apart religion in a beautiful way, but replaces with that this kind of love and beauty. It's the greatest thing
Wow.
ever. They've been working on it.
That's a fucking
They've been working on it
endorsement.
They've been working on it 7 years. And
7 years.
yeah, and afterwards I saw Matt and Trey and just said I just couldn't. And they, you know, I was so effusive that they thought I was bullshitting them.
Oh,
You
really?
cross over that
It's like,
line.
wait a minute, I
said-
think he's fucking with
I
us.
said, you know, Trey, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And he went, oh, I was hoping you'd like it. I said, no, it really was. You know, because you go, it sounds like bullshit. There's so much Hallmark car shit out there. And I have seen, it's true, I have seen a zillion shows and gone up and said afterwards, that was great.
The episodes that they did of
not
their
the
show where
greatest
they
thing.
were drawing, where they had Muhammad,
Yeah.
and Muhammad was in a bear
Oh,
suit.
yeah.
That was one of
They're
one
brilliant.
of the most bizarre moments in our culture, that this is tolerated. That this nonsense is tolerated, where you're not even allowed to draw this guy.
The
And
figure
you're gonna
of
on
Muhammad,
Comedy
yeah.
fucking Central, you're gonna go along with that and censor this because
But you
you're
know, there's the
amazing.
cartoonist in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who did Draw Mohammed Day, who was put into witness protection, not witness protection, wasn't a witness, but put, you know, underground, changed her name and everything with no money from us. You know, we gave her no money whatsoever. She did it on her own dime, lost her whole career, which was a cartoonist, which is a hard career to get. And, you know, people want that a lot. Took all that away from her because she did Draw Mohammed Day. And, you know, people were saying, well, what could the government do? And I said, you know, Obama could go on and say, you know, I have respect for religion. I really like it. I respect everybody's right. But, you know, we have freedom of speech here. So I'm going to draw Mohammed. And while I'm on the subject, I have 75 FBI guys who have volunteered to draw Mohammed with me on camera. And there's their name. And by the way, they're all packing.
Yeah.
And they're all happy to do that. So these people you need to go after, too. Because I think you can show respect, but you should not force people to do something out of fear.
Yeah.
And respect and fear are two different things.
Well, they just take it to the deepest level possible.
Well,
If you
killing
even
people.
draw our dudes, we'll kill everyone.
We'll kill you.
You're not even allowed to draw our guy.
And that doesn't seem like just some radicals saying that. That seems a little kind of, it creeps into the mainstream part of that religion. I don't know.
Yes.
Or at least the mainstream part of the religion isn't saying, hey, don't go killing people for drawing Muhammad. They're like, well, you shouldn't draw him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill you, but you'll probably get killed.
Salman Rushdie still has to hide.
Yeah.
He's still hiding. I mean, that was like in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jan Hirsi Ali, who wrote Infidel, who's, I write her email now and again through incredible number of remailers. I don't know
wow, really?
And she says stuff like, when I'm in Vegas, I like to come visit you. And I always write back and go, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just see my children and not me. But, I don't know if you read the book Infidel, but it's amazing. Her death threat, Theo van Gogh, the filmmaker in Holland, in broad daylight, stabbed through the heart.
Oh, yeah,
with a note that said, someone's going to kill Jan Hirsi Ali. So getting a threat that is pinned on your friend's chest through his heart and kills him, how do you live with that kind of terror?
Yeah.
Just horrible. And she lives with this all the time. I mean, Salman, they've backed off on a little bit, but Jan Hirsi Ali, I was talking to a security guy that was handling her speaking and said, we just finally gave up. When she's going to appear, the death threats are so constant. She was supposed to speak on this cruise, a skeptic atheist cruise, and they just finally said, we can't have her on the ship.
Wow. What was her, what is Infidel?
Infidel is her autobiography. She's Somalian, and she went from being religious and beaten by her father, and her clit slid off, cut off and shit, and all this stuff, to being an outspoken atheist with everybody in her family and many people in the world trying to kill her. She went to the Dutch Parliament and so on. And the story of Infidel is amazing because it showed you, do not ask the American military to do something you don't want them to do. They called the U.S. and said, we can't protect Jan Hirsi Ali. She just got this knife. We're scared. We can't protect her. Can you guys do something? And then she writes about how she's in her apartment the day after. Special ops guys from the U.S. just show up, wreck her cell phone, take her out. She can't tell any friends, put her on a plane, fly her to Logan, then get her, a military plane, fly her to Logan, and then drive her to Maine, and then put her in a little hotel where they rip out all the phones and everything and put a guy sitting next to her with an automatic weapon and a guy out front and say, now you're safe. And she goes, no, I want to talk to my friends. I want to do something. They go, our job is just to keep you alive. Wow. We don't care about anything else. And the whole book is, her sitting talking to the guys going, but I need to have some sort of life. And he goes, hey, you're not dying on my watch. Can I go out and get something to eat? I'll send someone to get you anything you want. All I know is you're not dying on my watch. You're not dying,
yeah.
So she just basically outlined, she told the story of her life, and yet that was enough to...
Well, no, she also
criticized the religion.
Being an apostate is the worst thing you can do. It's worse than being us. It is being a member of a religion and then leaving it. And she was a devout Muslim, and now she is an atheist, and you can't do worse than that.
Wow.
And she's a woman, which is another.
That's the first strike against her. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's and she got this award that we got. We got it one year, and she got it the next for this free thought type award. And we had to do this video that congratulated her and kind of gave the award over to her. And I said, we're completely behind you, Jan. Unless by being behind you, it means a fatwa is on our heads, in which case we think you went a little too far. And she is also unbelievably hot.
Really?
So she is smart, brave, and sexy. Without a clit, but really bleeds it, right?
That thing.
That doesn't help me.
But she's an amazing, one of the true heroes of our time.
And you keep in touch with her?
Well, not much. I mean, I don't.
We're in the same state at the same time.
Yeah,
close to each other.
Don't try to get through to her through Penn.
But I mean, if you want her on your radio show,
okay.
She will come
we got
on,
Joe Rogan.
And she will come on and she'll do it free, but it is something like $150,000 of security.
Wow.
And then once you have her sitting at the mic, everybody is trying to kill you. Well, actually, they're not trying to.
That's fucked up.
What a crazy fucking religion. Do you really think that the way to combat that is for someone like Obama to get on TV and actually say something like that and draw a picture? I mean, how do you somehow or another calm down that storm?
The question is whether you want, and I don't know the answer to this except for myself, which is I won't. But I don't know whether it is better to show respect or whether to stand up against it. I mean, when the Danish cartoons came out and American papers wouldn't print them, I mean, that's a very big decision. And they say they didn't print them out of respect.
But it's fear. There's a difference.
Yes, that's the whole argument. I mean, if they printed them out, if they did not print them out of respect, that is a defensible position. If they didn't print them out of fear, then we got to rethink that Home of the Brave thing.
Well, you know what? I've seen pictures in the paper of Piss Christ, where it's the crucifix and urine in the jar with the light behind it, and
Maplethorpe, right?
And no, that's
Saran.
what the hell was his name?
It begins with an S.
Maplethorpe do? Didn't he do
that
something
wacky guy? Then there was
didn't do that one.
He didn't do Piss
there was
Christ?
But it was the same time.
Mary made out of elephant manure. There's another one.
It's like, say shit. You're unserious.
Manure. Shit. But they put that in the paper. Now, out of respect for the religion, because they knew Catholics were very upset with this, they probably shouldn't have put that in. But they know that the place isn't going to get firebombed for the most part.
A bit about how you never see a Catholic suicide bomber because none of us believe in it that much. Catholics are like,
we're not really sure. Right.
We did bullshit.
It's out in my head.
We did bullshit for 8 years. And we were, just last night at Book of Mormon, I had a chiropractor come up and start hassling me.
Giving you a little shit.
For that. But it's amazing. People say, why do you guys pick on Christians and why do you not mention Islam? And the answer is very simply because Christians do not hurt other people overall. We have abortion. That anti-abortion people have killed some people, and that is unforgivable and horrible. But the fact is that I am able to say whatever I want about Christianity without fear of violence. And one thing I learned on bullshit was incredible respect for Christians. I mean, I go to bat for them all the time because I would get letters saying, it's nice to see you stating your opinion passionately. I believe in Christ. I'm praying for you. And I love your show and you do a wonderful job. Stuff like that. I mean, just if you want to talk about the purity of the marketplace of ideas, Thomas Jefferson's dream, I'll tell you, the Christians in America in the 21st century have got it fucking down.
And I don't know.
I don't know if I believed in my heart that abortion was murder. I don't know if I would have the restraint that so many people have on that. And of all the shows we did, we get asked, who gave you the most hassle? And the answer is the 9/11 conspiracy people. They're the only ones that showed up at our offices and threatened people there and called people who worked on the show at home.
What do you think happened to Christians to make them the calm Christians that they are today? Just that it's so successful? Because if you go back to the Inquisition, Galileo,
they did go through their phase.
You couldn't even say that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe.
Yes.
They threatened to burn you if you fucking said the Earth wasn't the center of the universe.
I think one of the things that happened to them was the Enlightenment, and another thing that happened to them was America, which is a really, really good idea.
Some girls jumping.
I guess she's engaged. Are you engaged?
Yes, I just got engaged a second ago.
Oh, congratulations. Look at you.
I know.
Oh, man, it's a mashup marriage.
Where's your guy?
He's right here.
Congratulations.
Hey, there you go.
Nicole from the Morning Mashup.
Very good. Congrats.
Weird timing, but congratulations.
That's how important marriage is to them.
I know.
We're in the middle of talking about religion and freedom and people dying and what happened in America.
Look at the precious. Look at the precious.
She held that ring up.
We all had to pretend that we cared, and we didn't get the same.
Has it?
We didn't get the same reaction from the guys. Like,
yeah, he was just like,
also, we were really good at reacting. Weren't we?
Hey, congratulations.
She felt so entitled. She opened up the door while a radio show was going on.
Yes.
Had no idea what we were talking about.
Going deep.
And led with her ring.
Magic
She
ring.
led with her ring.
Yeah, it came in first.
First, yeah.
Precious.
Holy shit.
That was really weird.
I'll tell you a marriage story.
The answer is
Enough of that. Yeah, take a seat.
Listen to Uncle Anthony.
Yeah,
He's going to set you
I'll
straight.
spin you a yarn about marriage.
It's a little thing called divorce.
Yeah.
and we can even spell it because it's country western music.
We still haven't seen Ari's asshole.
Oh, great.
What are we doing,
seen
Joe?
it.
You want to see? You want to see Ari's asshole?
Yeah, sure.
Hit play on that
this
thing.
is.
What is this called again?
Do I hit
Jew
play?
clam.
Jew clam. Yeah, you can go
Do you
to
have to hit
jewclam.com.
No, I think I have. I think it's already up here. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Well, let's
yeah.
show.
There
You
it
got
goes.
any sound?
I don't
Well,
know.
you don't want to hear anything. You just need to see it. Watch. He shows it. He threw toilet paper at him. He's gonna turn and show his asshole as he's wiping. He's just taking a
You're
shit with
so
the door
good
open.
at color commentary.
This is thank you. It's natural for me. This is the Austin, the Cap City in Austin, the green room, and now here Ari's gonna.
We figured we had to dumb the show down.
There it goes.
What's he doing? Why?
Oh my God!
He's got hemorrhoids.
You got hemorrhoids, Ari.
Tell you,
There's a piece of shit sticking out of my ass.
it's precisely as advertised.
Listen, I'm not one to sell you a bag of fake things, false bill of goods.
No, this is exactly what it's supposed to
No,
be.
it's just,
Is that it?
He,
You think, or,
Well, you can.
or we go close up? Oh no, there's too much time left in this video.
we have another minute to go in the
That's
video.
not.
Oh, his pants are up. That's not a good sign.
Oh my God! You've had girls lick your ass before?
One girl lived it. She was.
Well, we're doing now. It's recapping.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it. I was like, this is like licking my knee. This didn't do anything for me.
His asshole's calloused up.
Yeah, that really is.
Wow, Ari.
He said he doesn't like having his ass licked. It's like
It's when it's mid-inflamed, it's bad.
really?
Yeah, it is.
That was a bad one. Wow, you really aren't shy when it comes to things like that, huh?
I thought it was shit sticking out of my ass. I didn't realize that it was an inflamed hemorrhoid. I thought I just hadn't gotten it all the way.
So you wanted a second opinion on the internet?
What's 8 months later all about?
That'll follow you.
Oh, we took a picture of it 8 months later because he wanted to let us know that it's all healed.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Jesus,
God,
that looks like Homer's mouth.
That really is kind of it's disturbing.
Now this is much later. He's going to show you that it's all healed up. Much better.
Wow, infrared.
That's crazy.
What's wrong with you guys?
We got issues.
We're bored.
Being stand-up comedians, man, not having boundaries isn't always good.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of
JoeRogan.net.
go off.
So a little advertisement.
Sure.
Let people know where to look at Ari's asshole.
Yeah, well, you got
Why
that.
not?
Oh, yeah.
And then his big
hell
ball
is
bag.
going on here?
There's his
Yeah, Penny's
balls.
got a huge ball bag too.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's
Book
got
of Mormon, one of the greatest works of the,
Yes,
of the new
yes.
century. But
Book of Mormon.
Right next to
Right up
Jew
until
clam.
this.
When does Book of Mormon open up?
I don't know when it opens.
I gotta
oh,
fucking
yes,
see
I do.
that.
Tickets
Yes, I do.
cost $519 for Charlie Sheen.
What?
up to.
Wow.
Sold out New York City shows. What is he going to do?
Next week it opens. It opens next Thursday, I believe.
Next Thursday, I'm going. Book
You
of
need to
Mormon.
go. You need to go.
I'll go.
What is?
Well, it's a play, right?
It's a musical.
A musical.
And a musical, you will actually... Did you like Bigger, Longer, and Uncut?
Yes, loved it. Loved it.
I believe it's better than that.
Ooh,
And it's live, and it's amazing.
Team America is the funniest thing. I never laughed harder in a movie than
I
Team
believe
America.
it's better than
Goddamn
both of those.
puke.
And
That's
I love them
incredible.
both.
That's incredible. Well, why don't they put it out like as a movie? So,
Well, I mean, when you see it, it's the perfect form for it.
Oh, really?
I mean, one of the cool things about it is that it's not a movie. You know what I mean?
Oh.
They're actually doing it. They're there in front of you, and you have all the actors really doing it in real time is great. And, you know, another thing, if we're going to rave about the United States of America, and the audience is just out of their minds cheering. It's it's as purely blasphemous as it could be, with a humanist, just love everybody point of view, and the audience is going absolutely crazy. If you have any cynicism in you, like everything on Broadway is shit, and they just do this fucking Spider-Man garbage all the time, this will just wash that away. Not only will you love Trey and Matt and everyone in the cast, you will also love everyone in the theater with you.
when you say blasphemous, though, isn't Mormonism in and of itself blasphemous?
Well, not within the Mormon church, but this is blasphemous to whatever supernatural beliefs you have. They are contradicted in this shit.
Have they taken any shit for this?
I believe none, because we're living in the fucking United States of America, where you're allowed to say what you want. And you know
True.
something?
They got-
We really believe that.
Mormons are pretty relaxed about it.
Yes, Mormons are amazing.
I've had a bunch of Mormons come up to me and say they thought my Mormon jokes were funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I used to do a bit about, the reason why Mormons are against gay marriage is because if someone can talk you into being a Mormon, they can probably talk you into sucking their dick. Like, they have to be careful of that shit.
God damn, Joe.
And I've had a lot of Mormons who come up to me and they think it's funny.
Man.
Yeah.
That is a fabulous joke.
It's true. That's why they're scared of it. That's why they're spending so much money. They don't know. They don't want to all of a sudden find themselves in love with a man and not even know how it happened.
But there you've got a religion that is completely whack job.
Yeah.
In every single way, and yet when you point out that it's whack job, they do not hit you.
Yeah,
they do not threaten you.
Right.
It is astonishing.
You don't have to worry
They don't
that you're
even
gonna
do
get
economic
beheaded.
boycotts, really.
They're very
are
nice
just
people.
Very nice. And they kind of win you over by just such politeness, so nice in every way. Because I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life, and I've never had any recreational drugs, which I know you don't approve of, Joe, but you're so tolerant.
Disturbing.
You're so tolerant about it. And I will go to every
things
doctor.
I could show you.
Every doctor in Vegas is a Mormon,
Really?
Oh yeah, it's a huge number of Mormons, and I'll go in and they'll go through the whole thing and go, "Oh, you must be a Mormon." And I'll go, well, except for that, believing in God thing. We kind of fall down. Yeah, but you got everything else. Just one little step. It's not one little step.
That's a pretty
you don't
big
go
step.
from not drinking coffee to believing a guy got golden tablets from Jesus in the 19th century in upstate New York. That's a really big step from
Not
just
only
like
that, he was 14. Who's not full of shit at 14? Everyone's a goddamn... Joseph Smith found these things at 14, and when they said, well, where are they? Oh, the angels came and took them away.
Yeah, he took them.
He had a magic rock, a seer stone that he would use to look through to see these golden tablets to read them.
You just held up your iPhone, which you can't see shit through. Very bad example.
That was a pretty bad example.
He just
tried to do it through the case.
He held up a glowing rock. He said he thought he had a rock, but he could see things, and then he held up something that you could see things in. That's your whole argument.
Almost proving the point that he might have seen something in that.
Well, Joseph Smith's a known con man, too. That's the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, much like, the guy who created Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard
was
a
just
fucking science fiction
mediocre
author.
science fiction writer.
Hilarious.
Yeah, the whole thing with Scientology. I finally, I had heard about it so much years ago that I was like, I want to know what this is. And as I'm reading it, I thought it was a goof on the religion. I actually thought I was reading a parody of the religion. It's like, wait, this is really it? Thetans and fucking holding on to the censors,
yes.
and you have to drink, and there are actual aliens in the battle, and throwing the fucking people into the fire. What the fuck?
Xenu.
Yeah, Xenu.
Yeah.
I was in Germany, and they had a 24-hour camera that was trained on Mecca. And I'm watching this in my hotel room. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 24 hours. They have this, and there's this building, a square, look like a shed in the center with it's very fancy, and everyone's milling around this center, and they all have the same outfit on, this very traditional white robe, and there's thousands of them, and they're all like one of those ant swarms. They're going in a circle. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, if this was a new thing, if this was something that someone had just invented in Ohio, and there was a new religion that just started, and they all had to go around this box and circle it, people would be fucking tripping out.
You're nuts.
They would be freaking out. It'd be scary. It'd be dangerous.
That's the amazing thing about Scientology is we watched it grow. I guess not literally in our lifetimes, but pretty close.
Pretty close.
It didn't start much before we were born, and it's amazing to be at the birth of that kind of thing, and then to imagine how much more powerful that stuff is if you don't have mass media. I mean, we have video of Elvis Presley.
Right.
We have film of Elvis Presley. We have audio recordings. And yet you hear people say, Elvis didn't do no drugs. I mean, even with evidence that we trust, people can say Elvis is alive, Elvis did this, Elvis did that. And Elvis was alive during our lifetimes, and people can still make up shit. When nothing in the scriptures was written until 300 years after supposed Jesus Christ. You've got to say 300 years and they got everything right?
Yeah.
Even though we can't get things accurate on Kurt Cobain? You know what I mean? We can write. We can write Kurt Cobain. You know what I mean? He wasn't really that good. You know, we can write that down and remember it. But, you know, it's just astonishing. So if it happened present day, I mean, we're seeing the crazy shit of Scientology. And granted, Scientology is not that successful. Both the people against it and the people for it pump up the numbers. But even having over 4 people believe in Scientology.
Wait a minute. You say not that successful. Well, first of all, they're the second largest real estate holders in Los Angeles.
Is that true?
They own. They're trying to separate Hollywood so that they can own Hollywood.
Really?
They have a
trying to
tremendous amount of money and influence. And you know, anybody that's ever tried to criticize them. I mean, wasn't there someone who was trying to write a movie about them, a parody movie, and the guy got attacked and they threw rocks through his fucking window. They used to have.
I think they used to have some pretty hardcore lawyers that would go after anybody that said anything bad about Scientology.
Well, the New Yorker
it seems like they calmed down with the litigation thing.
They kind of have to.
That's a really,
for PR purposes.
That's a really good point, Joe. I mean, when you talk about Hollywood, I think there's a huge influence. I'm not sure, and I may be wrong about this. I'm not sure if in mid-America they have much.
I can't
they won't
really
even let them in Germany. Germany, it's
really
illegal. Yeah, Scientology. They're like, no, we know where this is going.
We've seen something like this before.
We've seen the previews. Get the fuck out of here,
boy.
Let me go. Master race, rockets from the sky. Yeah. We've been here.
Fuck that. Monsters from the sky.
I mean, nothing is more futuristic or apocalyptic than the World War II scenario.
Oh, I know.
A man who has a vision of a master race, genetic engineering, and rockets flying through the sky, slamming, and then not only that, but the most advanced technology as far as like rocketry and
aviation.
And you think Churchill was that
crazy shit. I mean, it really is.
It really is. How many sci-fi movies have just been based on that whole idea?
Yeah.
Is Star Wars? If Star Wars isn't fucking Nazis, the Empire isn't Nazis. I don't know what is.
Yeah, I watched Inglourious Bastards the other day.
Nazis?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Nazis.
Oh, you said if that isn't Nazis, what is? I would say
Nazis. You know what? Put that way,
That's a good
I
point.
really did sound silly there.
You ever watched that show, Ancient Aliens, on the History Channel?
I just got turned on to it.
Ridiculously stupid show for the most part.
Yeah.
But every now and then they talk about some interesting shit. And they had Aliens and the Third Reich, and it was all about the Nazis, how into the occult they were, and how into like Tesla's work, and how they were trying to come up with all this, the crazy technological advantages over the enemy. And
Yeah.
They were doing some nutty
How
shit.
they never got the bomb first is pretty amazing.
Just a lot.
Well, because they were spending time on the fucking occult stuff.
On the occult stuff. See,
we were working on real
just
shit.
explained it to you.
You say that, but if no one was working on the bomb and that occult shit, if they kept working on it and figured something out, well, who the fuck knows what they were up to?
No,
I'm not talking about non-science based. I'm saying maybe some of it had to do with science. What they were doing was some pretty intense, and they were looking like deep back into history. To
Hitler doing
Hindu
street magic. Take a card.
They were looking at the Bhagavad Gita.
That's just a thumb tip, sir. With all due respect, Hitler, that's a thumb tip you use.
It's really interesting how fixated they were on like ancient cultures and then the ancient
a lot of the
knowledge.
symbolism was taken from it.
Yeah, well, the whole
Roman
the swastika
Empire
itself. Swastika wasn't
It's a good luck sign.
If you want to build an atomic bomb, and I know you do, Joe, if you want to build an atomic bomb, it's better to go with new technology than old technology.
Yeah, this is true.
The information on the nuclear bomb from 600 years ago, not that good. Not that good. Won't get you there that quick.
Very true. Unless societies existed at a very high rate many times in the past and been wiped out.
Yeah.
I stick with my original point.
You think so?
I don't think there were advanced civilizations that exist. I think we know pretty much what's happened for the past 50,000 years.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so. I think not only that, but more recently, they've been showing that there is, in fact, a lot of evidence that there is advanced civilizations that were wiped out. Have you ever studied any John Anthony West stuff?
No, not at all.
Robert Schoch is a geologist at Boston University, and he's one of the main guys that's working on trying to change the ideas of ancient Egypt. And one of the things he does is he's talking about water erosion on the Sphinx. The Sphinx is, this huge structure, and most people believe it's built about 2,500 years ago. But what the problem is, the Sphinx enclosure has massive fissures that were created by thousands of years of rainfall. And the only time they had rainfall, the last time they had rainfall in the Nile Valley was 9,000 BC. So what this guy is saying is that most of this stuff, there's stuff that's from, 2,500 BC, but there's also shit that's probably from fucking way earlier. And there's different styles of construction, very clearly different styles of construction. Zawi Hawass is the main guy, the head of the Egypt studies over there in Egypt, and he's the guy, the head of, he chooses who gets to, study things and where you get to dig and what you get to do. He's very resistant to any ideas of predating, the ancient Egypt culture.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is geology. This is geologists look at this and say, you are dealing with thousands of years of rainfall to create these fissures. There's no doubt about that. This is very clear evidence. And the last time there was that kind of rainfall in the Nile Valley is 9,000 BC.
But that still doesn't get you back, to a ancient civilization that was as advanced as ours, and it still doesn't get you back more than 10,000 years.
Well, you're talking 9,000 BC is more than 10,000 years. It's 11,000 years ago, and you're dealing with someone who can make something. Incredibly complicated. Yeah, you're talking about incredibly complicated, massive stone structures that were created back when they supposedly were just learning language. I mean, language is only thought to be 30 to 40,000 years old.
Yeah, but now you're talking about an advanced civilization that still just built something out of rocks. Show me an airplane.
And you're talking about
what would be left, though? This is the big question.
Landing gear?
If there was something like a super volcano and, North America was wiped out, and then thousands of years later, they come back here 15,000 years later and they start digging through the rubble. What the fuck are they going to find?
Howie
stone structures?
He'll be here. What are they going to find?
They're going to find that in 2011 there was a guy on the radio that couldn't add 9 and 2 and get 11. that one stupid motherfucker should have probably shut up. He said 9,000 BC. I said nothing more than 10,000 years ago. I'm still embarrassed.
Well, I don't think there's anything left. I mean, you look at those pictures of Detroit.
Flaming hot fucking nuclear piles from their nuclear power plants.
Have you looked at...
how about an iPhone?
One of them. One of them would make it. The iPhone.
No,
one
that
iPhone.
would be gone. That thing would be eaten up by the earth in 100 years.
But
there would be nothing left. No, stone would be. That's the thing about the Egyptian structures.
Big parts of the iPhone.
Get the fuck out of here. This thing would be rotted away, man. This thing would be gone.
You would have a chip in there.
10,000 years later.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
we were assuming that
I bet you.
if there was an advanced civilization...
I bet you $5 that in 10,000 years.
You're on, Vegas boy. I know you Vegas fucks like to gamble.
Now, all we've got to do is live 10,000 years to pay this off.
I mean, if you see what's going on in Detroit, how the nature is reclaiming buildings.
Real quickly.
Oh, and Russia?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of ancient, not even ancient, 50, 60 years buildings in Russia that are like eaten up with trees. Trees are growing inside of them, busting through them.
You look at the surroundings of Chernobyl and stuff where they just
that's
abandoned
what I'm talking
shit.
about.
It looks pretty creepy.
Trees just grow right through buildings, crack through the concrete.
Sure.
10,000 years. We can't even wrap our heads around what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
10,000 years. It wouldn't be much
I couldn't even
left.
add 9 and 2.
I know. That was
not gonna let
There's
that
a
go.
guy named Graham Hancock, and he's got this fantastic book called Fingerprints of the Gods, and it's all about ancient structures that defy explanation, and most of them have alignments that are, they look exactly like constellations, and there's some sort of a connection between constructing these things and, trying to recreate what they see in the sky, and that this has occurred not just at one part of the world, but many parts of the world, suggesting that this was something that was done on a massive scale, many, many thousands of years before we thought of, as human history. I mean, they've had to predate a lot of things very recently. There's a structure they found in Turkey. There's really complicated stone structures that were like 12,000, 13,000 years old. And you saw the thing they found in Spain. They believe they found what might be Atlantis. I mean, this is like real legit geologists and archaeologists are saying.
Why just stone? And then you're saying what's going to be around in 10,000 years? How about the stone stuff we made?
Yeah.
So will that be around?
That will probably be around.
The
Big
lions
buildings,
in front of the
cornerstones and
in
shit.
front of the library, something like that. You know,
maybe. I mean, but not much else.
But what you might be seeing is you might be seeing remnants of how powerful slave labor is, too.
That's true.
The problem with that is they don't even believe slaves built the pyramids.
I know that. I know that stuff's out there, but I'm just saying you don't know that the older stuff couldn't have been that. I mean, when you have human life being cheaper, there's certain shit you can do really well, like carry rocks.
Yeah, but the numbers are so huge. I mean, some of those monoliths that they've found that haven't been moved yet, that are hundreds of tons and perfectly cut and fucking enormous. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence that leads to...
plenty of time on their hands. They really did.
I don't think that's enough.
They had 10,000 years.
Yeah. They also had to eat, and they're running around chasing squirrels and shit, trying to hit them with rocks to feed themselves. I mean, if you talk about 12,000 years ago...
You're saying the most advanced civilization are chasing squirrels with rocks?
Well, we're talking about what we're talking about.
Microwave that rotted away in 2,000 years.
That's his point.
Our vision of 12,000 years ago as opposed to what may or may not have happened. If we look back, I mean, we think 10,000 years ago we were basically throwing spears at woolly mammoths, you know? That's our idea of humanity.
Wait, you went from a squirrel to a woolly mammoth? And from a rock to you just went 8,000 years ago?
Squirrels were very big.
I'm big at flipping back and forth between animals.
From squirrel to woolly mammoth.
Well,
that's
whatever you need to eat.
Your new book, isn't it?
Yes, that's the title of my new paper. From squirrels to woolly mammoth.
Yes.
From rock to spear. The Joe Rogan story.
Shit we ate while we made buildings.
Gotta dumb it down.
It's a fascinating thing to me because when you look at what's going on with this giant earthquake in Japan, and you see all these different cataclysmic disasters that happen, and then you look at the fucking Yellowstone one is the one that freaks me out the most. The super volcano in Yellowstone is a caldera that's fucking 300 kilometers wide. 300 kilometers wide. It's a volcano that's so big that when it explodes, it doesn't have a peak anymore. It just leaves this big crater and kills like 90% of the continent. It's a continent killer. And it happens every 600,000 to 800,000 years.
Yeah, you got time, right?
Last time it happened was 600,000 years ago.
I think we'll make it.
Yeah, they have thousands of earthquakes there every year. Yeah. Thousands of earthquakes.
God,
they have no idea what's going to happen, whether or not. But if it does blow, there's nothing left. There's literally nothing left, and that's happened many times.
We've got to do something about this.
It's nothing you can. Enjoy yourself.
Stack something on top of it.
We just don't need it.
Somewhere out there in space is a 5-mile wide piece of iron that's going 45,000 miles an hour. When it hits, within the first second and a half, it will be 5 miles deep into the Earth. Within the first second and a half. And it doesn't matter. It's a reset button, and we're fucked no matter what.
Reset, yeah?
There's nothing you can do to stop
it's just that another fucking Gulf of Mexico somewhere.
No, the Yucatan.
Another Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
And
anything bigger than a fucking rat, it's done.
The rat's got to then evolve into something else. And
how does that happen? In 65 million years, the whole thing was done. Everything was done except for little tiny animals, and then it became this. Elephants, birds, giraffes.
From squirrels to woolly mammoths?
Yes, from squirrels to woolly mammoths. The paper.
We brought it all right around.
You got to bring that around. Sure.
It's amazing when you really think about that happened in 65 million years.
But 65 million years is a long time. And that was kind of the point you were making before. It's a really long time.
I find it amazing how long the dinosaurs were on Earth. As opposed to how long we are, and
so does my 4-year-old son.
And see, dinosaurs, they're fascinating. I love it. Little toys at home.
What's really
dinosaurs.
Fascinating is fucking crocodiles, like dinosaurs that are still here.
Still here.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a crocodile, and you saw a movie with a crocodile in it, you'd be going, could you imagine if that thing was real?
Well, that's
like a monster.
They don't have to fucking breathe underwater.
Yeah, that's true for almost everything.
I mean, spiders.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
A praying mantis.
That's true.
Have you heard of praying man? Then you see that motherfucker.
Have you heard of the Brazilian wandering spider? You want to talk about a motherfucker of a spider? The most toxic spider known to man. This spider's killed more people than any other spider, and this is how it kills
Was it one particular spider?
Yeah, the Brazilian wandering spider.
Just one spider.
Serial killer spider. This is how it kills you, with incredibly painful, unending erections.
What?
What?
The toxin from this spider
Wait, from Brazil?
causes
Figured.
nitric oxide. Yeah, from Brazil, of course.
See,
More
again,
crazy shit from
hard
Brazil.
on.
You first, Joe.
Yeah.
You first.
And by the way, they're actually using it as a cure. They're trying to use it as a cure for erectile dysfunction because
first,
it creates
Joe. Right.
nitric oxide, a massive supply of it. Where your dick, if you survive this, your dick's broken because it's basically you redline your dick. It's like
Blow it out.
and it just boom blows pistons through the fucking through the
What
manifold,
the
and it's
fuck?
done. I mean, it kills people, but the people that it doesn't kill, your dick is done forever. You wrecks your sexual life. You no more hard
Now,
on.
this comes from biting you anywhere.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
have to bite you on the
incredibly
dick.
toxic.
That's
which
right.
would-
You're right on the very tip of
Yeah,
the
right on the tip of your dick.
It causes
And that's
Very
because
painful.
guys try to fuck them.
massive pain in all your muscles, massive pain throughout your entire body.
And the spider's just walking around out
yeah,
there?
just walking. Well, it's a wandering spider too. It doesn't have like a
It's
net.
I'm just saying, who
It's got a little
walking, it's
stick.
wandering.
I mean,
Yeah.
a stick with
It's
a
like-
bandana with his goods tied on
Yeah,
it.
it was really
actually
hobo.
8 of them, I guess.
It was really a setup to my point. Why would you ever go in the woods or hike in that area?
Don't
terrifying.
ever go anywhere where money doesn't matter. Don't ever go anywhere where
That
money
is a
doesn't
Damn,
matter.
fucking
words
ethic.
to live by,
That
Lloyd.
is- that is
I went
words
into
to
the
live by.
Everglades once, and when you haven't got, if you've got
putting that on
$1,000
Twitter.
in your hand and it won't help you,
Doesn't
you don't
matter.
want to be there.
Right.
You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
man.
ever go anywhere where money doesn't
The
matter.
Everglades
You
are
can quote me on
so
it.
crazy because people, these fucking assholes, go to pet stores and buy vipers and all these crazy fucking snakes, and they go, I don't want this anymore, and they throw them into the swamp, and now they're eating crocodiles. Have you seen that shit? Have you seen that picture? There's a fucking photo of an alligator that's half eaten by a python.
I don't believe that picture's real.
Really?
Oh, you think it's shop?
I think there was something on Snopes about it, but I might be missing.
We'll have to look into that. But I know, well, first of all, there's a show where they go
But there's
after them and
dangerous
kill
shit
them.
in the Everglades.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going on
But they're
record
not
as saying there's not
indigenous. They're
dangerous shit.
alien species.
I might argue with you about exactly when civilization started, but dangerous shit in the Everglades, we are brothers on that.
No argument there. Right.
There's no argument. I don't have any knowledge about when civilization started. I'm re-quoting some people who...
I was lied to by E.O. Wilson.
Who's that?
You know, the entomologist who's the real expert on all ants. E.O. Wilson's the biologist at Harvard and Koch. And he, I always, whenever I say Harvard, I follow with Koch. And when people say, why'd you say Koch? I say, why'd you say Harvard? It reminds you that every time you hear the word Harvard, you should say Koch. Because then it just reminds you that might not be as important as they think if they went to Harvard. Koch. But anyway, E.O. Wilson said to me, we want to do a bit on Letterman. Here was the bit on Letterman. I was reading something of E.O. Wilson's about pheromones, right? And that ants would follow the trails. So I thought, here's a boss thing we'll do. We'll go on Letterman, okay? We'll treat his desk with pheromones in the shape of the 3 of clubs. And then we will say we have psychic ants. We'll have Letterman pick a card. We'll force the 3 of clubs. Letterman will show it to the ants. We'll dump them out on his desk. And over the course of the whole show, the ants will spell 3 of clubs. How boss will that be? So I call E.O. Wilson and I go, will this work? And he goes, yes. I said, what kind of ants? So we talked to several entomologists, and they're all talking about different species of ants. And then someone says they're in the Everglades. And I can't get an entomologist to give me these ants. So I say to one of our crew guys, fuck it. We're going to go to the Everglades, find these ants. So I go with a guidebook and a rent-a-car. And the one thing he tells me is, because he's got such a good sense of humor, is he says, when you go in there, in order to find these ants and dig them up and use them, you can't use any insect repellent. So no DEET, no nothing. So I go into the Everglades, sweating like a motherfucker, in a T-shirt and shorts, with a shovel and a guidebook to try to find ants that I could put on Letterman. And as I walk into the Everglades, fuck the crocodiles, I get attacked by every species of insect. And Joe, as God is my witness, swear to God, there were at least 12 wandering spiders right on my dick. It was just horrible and a nightmare. And I was in the Everglades with my shovel and my guidebook to our crew guy, Robbie, crying, saying, never go anywhere that money doesn't matter. Never go anywhere money doesn't matter.
You want to hear a crazy ant statistic?
And it didn't work.
It didn't work
Yeah,
anyway?
I know. The biomass of ants is more than all the rest of life on Earth. You going to give me that one?
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say
Shit.
it's the same the same weight as humans. The amount of ants.
No. all animals.
Really? I don't know about
I
that,
think
because
it's
I read it
animals.
recently.
What's this
I read it
stuff?
It's a
recently.
lot of fucking
I read
answers.
But
it
it was
recently
probably
that
E.O.
it's
Wilson
humans.
that said it. So he's a lying sack of shit.
Answer.
He sent me to the Everglades.
Most dangerous thing in Africa. They eat more things than anything. They eat elephants. They climb into the elephant's ear and just start eating their fucking brain while the elephant's walking around.
Jesus.
Yeah, army ants are a
but
motherfucker, dude.
For humans, it's mosquitoes, though.
Mosquitoes are the most because of malaria.
Yeah, because of malaria and because of us banning DDT in the most racist move ever done in history.
Banning DDT is racist?
Yeah, it was essentially saying Americans saying
BET.
we've
I always get that confused.
No, we've conquered malaria in the United States.
A different kind
so
of bug.
Silent Spring comes out, and we ban DDT worldwide and sentence probably 500 million people to death. That could be by DDT.
The banning the DDT was because of what reason? It was really a racist reason?
It was mostly a book called Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, and about the eagle
person?
Eagle legs.
Eagle legs getting all soft and
probably not true.
That's right, the American eagle.
But if those people were dying of malaria in the USA, I contend that we would not have banned DDT. It's the fact that it was people in mostly Africa and India that we decided to ban it worldwide, which we kind of did. In India, they still use it some. But DDT is a wonder drug. DDT is like the polio vaccine for malaria, and we let it. We took it off the market. And
DDT is a pesticide, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it really does take down mosquitoes.
What is the
really
bad part? There must be something bad.
There's all sorts of bad.
What's the bad thing there?
There's a lot of bad, but not as much bad as children dying of malaria. It's always a trade-off.
Wow, yeah.
I'm a big DDT fan.
I never would have. I never would have had you as a DDT fan. Tell you the truth.
I wear the hat and I cheer and I paint my face like DDT on certain holidays.
Well, what do they say is wrong with DDT? I'm ignorant about it.
There's a book called Silent Spring that said that it was going to go into our food chain and do all sorts of damage all the way up. Robin eggs were thinner, eagle eggs were thinner, the shells of them, and there was all sorts of damage. Whether that stuff is true, it certainly wasn't as true as they said. Certainly, you don't get anything good without trade-offs. There is some bad about DDT, but 500 million people, you got to have a pant load of bad to let those people die.
Yeah. Were that many people going to die from using it? Probably not.
Exactly. That's the point. But, it's very easy to be an environmentalist, hardcore environmentalist, when you are rich and white and living in the USA. When you're not battling Brazilian wandering spiders crawling up your asshole.
Biting your dick, yes.
It's amazing how quickly the rainforest is going away, too. You ever watch, go to a website that shows you how much of the rainforest we're losing every day? It's terrifying.
I haven't noticed from my house. I just
look out the window.
I watch TV.
Cup of coffee.
Same pine trees out back.
I
don't care.
What
am I going to do?
Yeah, the rainforest is disappearing at an incredible rate.
And with the rainforest, a lot of wandering spiders.
A lot of other shit,
homes.
too. The fungus, they're finding all these zombie funguses. Have you seen all these different...
I just saw that zombie fungus that was going right through one of those...
ants' heads.
Heads and...
Controls the ants and rewires their brains.
That's fucked.
But the article that I was reading quite a while ago about the rewiring of the ant's brain had this great sentence in it that said... The fungus makes the ant do things no sane ant would do. I just love that our language is so great it can have the sentence, do things that no sane ant would do. Hey, Bob's climbing up on the top of the sheep is going to eat him. That crazy motherfucker. There's some sort of thing in his brain. Get him down. Get him down.
We're all reasonable ants, aren't
He's doing things no sane ant would do. Look at Bob. Now I know all ants are female. Fuck you. But you can still be named Bob, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me that, Joe.
There's men named Shirley.
Sure.
Bobby.
Right?
Bobby, sure.
Bobby
the female ant.
Yeah. I find one of the most amazing things is that it's Friday. It's about 11:15, and I'm
only
still
you guys
here.
would make us. Only you guys we would stay late for. I'll tell you right now.
You guys usually leave?
10 o'clock.
10.
Really?
Yeah, but you guys are way too good to pass
this
up
is too
on.
much fun. What are you kidding?
Well, you're talking about what sane ants will do and seeing a guy's asshole.
Yes,
that's a good morning.
that is true.
And the rainforest.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that guy that walked the entire length of the rainforest, the entire length of the Amazon? Took him 800 days.
How about this? How about this guy that's going to run from pole to pole? They're calling him the Forrest Gump of Australia. I think his name is farmer or something. He's a guy from Australia, and he's training by running 26 miles a day, a marathon every day. He's going to run 50 miles a day from pole to pole. I know there are problems with running across water, but he's planning on doing that. And what I loved about this, being a fat guy, it's important to care about this. He has to take in 6,000 calories a day, so he has to, no, maybe it was 12,000 calories a day, so he has to drink olive oil to get enough calories.
Whoa.
And I'm watching this and going, boy, I hate the idea of running, but that drink of the olive oil is good. Guys who climb Everest have to eat sticks of butter.
Really?
Yeah. You just can't get enough calories into you. You're burning so many. So if you're running 50 miles a day, one of your big problems is getting enough calories. And the way to solve that is by drinking olive oil, which is very sexy.
Oh, man, that's got to make for some nasty dumps.
Just to run from pole to pole to say you did it. Who gives a fuck? What is that nonsense?
I agree.
I don't know, 50 miles a day.
Show the world.
They'll shut up then. They'll leave me alone then. Once I run pole to pole.
Yeah,
but everything is.
There must be some crazy motivation from childhood.
He's doing some
wedgies that just will never get out of his mind.
He's doing some sort of charity thing. He's raising money for, I think, something that's undeniably good, like fighting cancer or something. But he's not doing it just to.
For the DDT.
I want to get out
He gets kids
to the pole, and right when he gets there, a polar bear eats his asshole. Just comes running after him and just starts tearing his asshole apart.
But
right when they have cameras
calories
on.
a day.
That's a lot of food.
12,000 calories a day. Yeah,
that's several pizzas.
E-Rock, how do you get that?
Oh,
see, because we make fun because he's a little chubby.
Oh, the chubbiness.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's looking for a comeback right now.
Yeah, he's searching. Believe me.
Well, he's just going to
But
take it.
eating butter.
Yeah,
that part of climbing Everest I'm okay with.
That sounds
As a matter
all
of fact, the list of things that I like about climbing Everest, eating butter.
Eating butter.
It's on the top
End
of
of
the
list. No, that's the end of the list.
Oh, that's it.
There's nothing else. Think of something else good about climbing Everest.
Seeing
Wiggling
the
your
bodies.
toes every step so they don't fall off.
Freezing cold.
Not good. Freezing cold. Not good.
Freezing.
Not being able to breathe. Not good. Falling to your death. Not good.
What about seeing all the bodies, the hundreds of bodies that
On
are
the
left
way up.
up there?
Not good. Or you put it on the
there.
positive.
Not
That could be
Negative.
kind of
Okay,
cool.
negative. Good. That's negative for me too. But I just didn't want us to get into a little
But
thing
how
about.
old does a dead
From
body?
the
You don't
internet,
want to see
it's
me do this.
positive.
What's that?
From the internet, it's positive. When you're there in person, it's like, what am I doing?
How old does a body have to be before it's cool to look at? Like, if there's some explorers from the 1800s and there's their encampment and that's where they died, you look and go, all right, that's kind of cool. If it's someone last week, you're like, body.
With the North Face jacket on. Fuck that.
Too soon.
Yes, too soon.
Too soon to look at a dead body.
Too soon to look at the dead
If the
body.
gear looks old,
I think it's once the shit
you're
smell
in.
goes away, you're okay.
The first guy to ever climb Everest.
Rule of thumb. I like that.
For
Rule
all
of thumb.
too soon. For
Yeah.
all too soon. Any joke you want to make, once the shit smell goes away,
That's it.
go crazy. You're in.
Now
What did you
it's
guys
okay.
think about Gilbert Gottfried getting in trouble for tweeting all those?
Yeah, the
things about
Japanese things.
Japan?
I'm from the school of thought, as they say. Anything. I think anything should be able to be said.
But there are
consequences.
There are no bad guys in this. Aflac is an insurance company.
Right.
Being edgy is not an upside for an insurance company.
No.
You know, I'm very good friends with Gilbert, and I talked to him a lot about this. And I didn't know they were 75% Japanese.
Amazing. Who knew?
But when Gilbert made those jokes, and everybody forgets this, Gilbert was making those jokes before he saw the future. You know, we didn't know on that Friday how terrible it was going to get.
Right.
And there is a certain line there. So Aflac did exactly the right thing, and so did Gilbert. You know, you have to say, when you are as brilliant as Gilbert, it is your job to society to say anything that pops into your head. Now, without Twitter, that doesn't happen. Because without Twitter, he doesn't get to say it until a week later when he already knows shit. But none of us, and I don't mean in entertainment, I mean in the world, know how to use Twitter yet. So it's a nutty situation that Joe just, while he was talking to us, sent out to 1 million people something that I said. He could have made a mistake there.
I was going to, but I forgot what your exact quote was. Don't go anywhere where money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When we're done here, I'll do that.
But I mean,
Yeah,
so I
that's a good one.
think you've got a situation that's horrible with no bad guys. It's once again, you don't see evil. It's not like the Affleck guy said, I want to stop all freedom of speech, fuck him.
Right.
He was like, oh man, that's really bumming some of our customers. We got to stop it.
Yeah.
And, Gilbert...
Good take.
Gilbert did not say, I have no respect for people who are suffering in Japan. That isn't part of it. I mean, as Joan Rivers said, and it's, she's exactly right on this, there are many, many ways of dealing with grief.
Entombing the reactor is a last resort. This is the next thing they're talking about when it comes to this.
Oh, so there you go.
Fucking so scary.
10,000 years from now, that's what'll be left.
Yes, a
and
boiling
but not
nuclear
really,
core.
Not really that much more scary than the tsunami and the earthquake. I mean, the tsunami and the earthquake will kill more people than the nuclear thing.
Yeah, but the tsunami and the earthquake, when they're done, they're done.
Well, no, they're not done.
This fucking thing is a half-life of 20,000 years of shit.
They're not done, they're done. They're moving the whole continent inches, noticeable amounts. They're not done, they're done. There's bad shit that happens everywhere.
I'm definitely not doubting that, but I'm saying that this is a scary thing, this not being able to shut down nuclear power plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This scares the fuck out of me, man.
I was wondering about Japan moving. How far they say it moves?
8 feet?
8 feet.
8 feet.
Was it that?
Is that going to
that's what they
fuck
said.
GPS up where it's gonna tell you to turn 8 feet before you're supposed to?
But look at the bright side. You're not going to be driving in Japan for a while.
No, absolutely not.
That's
You'll
something
be
you don't have to
fine
worry
in New
about.
York
Just
City.
get a driver while you're there.
The satellites
Trust me.
have no clue that anything moves. They just
Yeah.
have a grid. And
But there's a gap in the ocean floor that's 50 miles wide and 270 miles long, where the epicenter was.
And is that where
Wow,
Godzilla is?
Wow.
yeah, that's what's gonna come out of there, man.
Because, if we were ever going to get Godzilla, this
That
is
would have
the
been
time.
it. Yeah, this time it's got
I think
nuclear stuff.
I think we've shown that Godzilla's total
Fissure
bullshit.
in the
What is
earth.
this U.S. evacuation region? What the fuck is that?
That's where
about?
no
US
American
citizens.
soldiers or citizens are allowed to go in. Our zone's a little bigger than the Japanese one. They're like, nah, you
We're
can
not
go
believing
there.
their zone.
Yeah,
Like,
we're not buying that zone.
But I don't think. Don't worry, we're not evacuating San Francisco.
Well,
it's
yeah.
That's the weird thing when you see online these cloud fucking scenarios.
Oh, they were showing kind of where radiation would go, picked up on the jet stream and dumped on the North Pacific.
Yeah,
that's
not good.
that's a little odd.
That's a little.
But I think
worrisome.
it's supposed to be just a minuscule
little bit,
amount,
like
just a little
like an X-ray.
radioactivity.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
lot
like-
of people that believe every time you go through the X-ray thing, the new thing at the airport, it's fucking up your DNA.
Yeah, but I think those are
know.
people that are politically motivated, possibly.
They said in Hong Kong right now, which is however many miles away, you get the exact radiation of 1/100th of an X-ray.
Oh, see, that's not that
That's we could take that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
we all
you
get
had a
some
thing
radiation.
at the TSA recently. I was reading
It
about
wasn't
that.
recently. It just showed up. It was in 2002. That
Really?
That I was against TSA before it was cool. A guy, was grabbing my what did the guy say? The guy was grabbing my cock,
Junk.
filling me up. No, it was junk for that guy. But for me, what you always do at TSA, what I believe is if anything goes wrong, you ask for real police. Because real police hate leather sniffers. They hate guys playing police.
Right.
Whenever you have a confrontation with a mall cop, fake cop, if you get a real cop in there, the dynamics always go to your side.
He's on
Unless
your
you know
side.
you're doing something really egregious. And so I went through, and this guy just said, hey, don't do that. And he started giving me some attitude, and I said, call the police. And he said, no, we don't need to call the police. You've done nothing wrong. I said, no, I haven't. You have. Call the police. And he said, no, you don't have to call. I said, no, that's my right as a citizen. Get Metro in here. It was in Vegas. And then the real police officer says, you were grabbing his dick? And I said, I don't care. Really, anyone can grab my dick. You just have to ask me beforehand. I require dinner, anything.
Right.
I'm not homophobic. I don't care. Grab my
let me
cock.
know you're gonna do
But I also care a lot about the Constitution, a lot about freedom. So it's a weird combination.
You
I
just
don't
put
need
out
to
a
protect.
very strange invitation,
I
sir.
don't need to protect my cock, but I'd like to for the sake of my country.
Right.
So my cock is a patriotic area. It's not. I'm not afraid of anything.
So do you think he was grabbing your dick just to humiliate
No.
you?
Yeah. It was just because because I showed a little attitude. Imagine me showing a little attitude.
Oh, no.
He must have misinterpreted something. It must have been just I had a belch or something, and the look on my face looked like I was contemptible to him.
And in 2002, if you questioned anything, you were unpatriotic. That was the height of fever.
Oh, my God.
You know what they did, though? You know what the final thing they did was? Is after I did this little... And I tried to do it very politely and through proper channels and stuff, through the police officer. The TSA person in Vegas called up and said, Penn, we don't want to have any trouble with this. When you're going to fly somewhere, you just let us know, and we'll get you through without going through the security.
I'll see.
And I went, no, I don't want special treatment. It wasn't about me. It was about the idea of it. As a matter of fact, you're much more welcome to feel me up than the elderly ladies and the children who you're frightening to death. I don't give a fuck.
That is the worst.
But
when you
it's
see
amazing.
old ladies getting stripped, they get
why?
filled up and their arms stretched out. Like, come on, this lady's shaking.
She can't even hold her arms out.
Hunchbacked.
She doesn't know what it means.
Yeah, it's just horrible. But that's what they do. And the reason I didn't, the police officer said, I saw this, he was acting wrong, you can go with a lawsuit, is I felt it would come across as this fucking Vegas magician thinks he's special, doesn't want people touching him.
Sure.
So I didn't want to come off as
that's
that
not
kind
the
of guy.
point,
But
right.
I want to add to this that I've never taken that special treatment. I turned them down.
Yeah.
Because it just seems so fucking wrong. It's like, oh, you can go on TV, you can complain about this, let's take you through the special line. Now, I also don't know if that offer is available anymore. I don't want people going crazy and saying there's a special line, people never get checked. I don't even know if it existed. She could have been bluffing all of that. I never found out.
You should go through it with like layers and layers of clothes on, sweating like a pig. Looking.
But I mean, it's
what's behind that
security.
door.
It's security theater, and I think everybody knows that.
It really is. It's there to kind of make you feel like they're doing something, but things slip through all the time.
Yeah, didn't they just have a thing in the Post? It was the Daily News or the Post. And they showed knives and shit. They just snuck through.
Guy brought a box cutter on the plane, and I think because it was for his job or something, and he had it in there, and he's the one that said, like, look, I didn't mean to have this. And they freak out then. Oh, well, come on out. You got to come out. It's like he was fessing up to the fact that he had it on him.
We also have the point that they put pilots through that shit. The pilots go through.
Yeah.
And the pilots, they have a way to do it. Once you're the pilot of the fucking plane, you don't have to worry about nail clippers.
You really don't have,
Well, do you remember that guy in Egypt, the pilot that fucking took the plane
crashed
down?
the plane,
He's screaming, Allah Akbar.
He crashed the plane. He laid a hammer over the co-pilot's head or something and just decided, that's it.
This is it.
I'm going in.
Time to wrap it up.
The problem is, once you're going to kill everybody, including yourself, in the plane, hitting a guy in the head with a hammer, not that bad.
Really not that bad.
If you're looking at what you're going to do,
you're committed.
On the way to that, that's
Unless
okay.
it's
Once you brain
foiled.
him, though, that's a commitment.
You don't want to change your mind after that.
You can't
worse than saying no in improv.
There's an amazing story of a freight line. It was FedEx or UPS, one of the airplanes, using one of those L-1011s, and a guy wanted to kill himself, get the insurance money for his family, one of these old gags. So he flies on the jump seat, has a hammer on him, and goes into the flight deck and just starts beating the shit out of the pilot and co-pilot. And one of the guys got up, and they were major league fucked up in the head, like bleeding on their brains, and grabbed this guy. And as they're fighting, the guy pulls out a knife, he's stabbing one guy, and the pilot, who's also semi-conscious, just starts rolling the plane over. And now the co-pilot and the hijacker, at this point it's now a hijacker, are flopping from the ceiling to the floor of the plane. He's trying to knock this guy out using acrobatics with the plane.
Holy shit.
Finally got him to the point where the co-pilot was able to hold him down, and they landed the plane. They both wound up with really horrible head injuries and everything, but landed the fucking plane and thwarted the guy's attempts to crash the plane. An amazing story. I saw it on one of those minutes before disaster shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
How many people in the fucking main cabin got fucked up landing on their head?
It was a freight. Yeah, it was a freight. It was a freight thing.
plane.
And some of the freight was coming out and smashing these guys. And the way the story was told was just like, oh my god, that's horrific.
The way the story was told was like they had to fill cable television hours.
Yes,
exactly.
And I was right there watching.
Recreation.
I
love a good recreation.
I know that way. say that we have 800 channels. They're running 24 hours a day. You try to fill them up, motherfucker.
I love them. I can't get enough.
We got to get out of here.
Watch everything. Yeah, Ron and Fez
is starting like 2 minutes.
Beautiful.
You guys can stick around for Ron and Fez.
Hey, they love people.
What are the plugs? Joe Rogan, you could just
nothing.
Podcast, tweeting that.
Follow me on Twitter.
We're at
UFC tomorrow night. Chuck Liddell, anything? Just hanging?
Just hanging.
Ari, anything?
Chuck.
At Ari Shafir.
All right, Penn, Gillette,
We're at the Rio Wall Street Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Teller's show Play Dead is at the Player Theater. And you guys should go to see
finally
Teller's
going.
fucking play.
Didn't Jimmy see it?
Yeah, Jimmy told me I got to go now.
Jimmy saw it, said it was amazing.
Well, yeah,
I'm
go
going
see
to go
it.
check it out.
Go see
What is
it.
Play Dead? What is it?
Play Dead is a show that Teller wrote and directed at the Players Theater, and it's like an old-fashioned spook show where you're in the dark and it scares you, and it's also funny and thrilling, and it's a really cool
And where's
show.
it at?
It's at the Players Theater.
Where's
it's right
that?
here in New York City.
Oh, okay.
And it's great. It's great. It's a one-man show by Todd Robbins, but Teller wrote it and directed it, and it's not really a one-man show. There's a lot of people sneaking around in the fucking dark. And now Teller's going to yell at me. No, it's a one-man show. No one's sneaking around in the fucking dark. There's no one sneaking around in the fucking dark. It's a one-man show. He's doing it all himself. Yeah, except for the people sneaking around in the fucking dark, you retard. But, yeah. But
Just an asshole all the time, man.
And he doesn't even do drugs.
No, it's amazing.
Thank God.
So far, it's
You
just so
apologize
far.
for
There's
so
still
far.
hope.
Yeah,
I
you
might
never
go
know.
get fucked up with you right now.
That would be amazing.
There's hope for the world.